Welcome to Epic Tales and Critical Fails, a Pathfinder 2nd Edition Remastered podcast. Prepare for adventure, terror, and the occasional use of bad language. We're a rules-light podcast. We don't agonize over the rules because, quite frankly, there's a lot of them, and we will get them wrong occasionally, so be kind. We're also using hero points slightly differently. No one gets them at the beginning of a session. Instead, the players accrue them during the game, and they can have a maximum of 3 at any one time. But if the worst happens, they have to spend them all to stay alive.
I'm Laura, and I play Katarra, a sneaky, stealthy sailor, or pirate, depending on your point of view.
I'm Lucy, and I play Bethilde, landlady of the Wandering Barnacle and grandmotherly gnome.
I'm Mike, and I play Bertie Bunce, halfling cleric of Pharasma.
I'm Maddy, and I play Minesh Adon, a tempestuous root leshy of death.
I'm Kyle, I play the vastly knowledgeable and cunningly clever Xander Dante.
And I'm Michael, I'm your GM, and I play everybody else. So we left you off having all kissed and made up, or not really. However, you'd all gathered back together, had a night of drunken debauchery at the Wandering Barnacle, and now I've realised that you probably should go and see Barnaby Strucker over in the coins and to possibly apologise for the damage to his shop. So you make your way over to the coins, leaving the puddles behind, wandering through the narrow streets until you find Barnaby's Botanic Emporium.
Do we have to pay another silver for the water taxi?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it a silver or 3 silver?
A silver each.
Oh, right. So why did they charge us 3 silver last time, then?
Late night rates.
I should have early bird rates.
Fine, it's 2 silver.
Right, okay.
Hey.
So you walk up to the shop, walk up to this the bay windowed store. The door is currently open.
So we'll wander in.
You wander in, and Barnaby is standing there painting the wall.
Barnaby.
Hey.
Oh, hey.
Xander and Bethilde have something they wish to say to you.
I'm mighty pleased to hear that. What exactly do you have to say for me other than I'll pay for the repairs?
You look very nice today.
Thank you. I always look
You can
nice.
take the cost out of their share of the contract.
Yeah, I'll do that.
We're very, very sorry that we had a small spat and also may have destroyed some things in your shop.
He looks over at the buckled wall where the hydraulic push hit it and he's like, I'm sure it was a small spat.
Yes, things got out of hand after a long and stressful day, and we apologise.
We've all been there, and fortunately none of the plants were harmed, so
Oh, that's good.
that's the main thing.
The sunflower golem tried to kill us. Do you know anything about him?
Well, we had a discussion about this yesterday, and I told you that I'd heard about the Sunstalker, apparently a serial killer who's been marking sunflowers into people's faces.
Cool. Do you also have some lavender?
I do. How much do you need?
A sexy quantity.
Okay.
Whatever you would consider a sexy quantity
like
of
a
lavender.
bouquet of lavender. I mean,
Would you like a
do you
plant?
do flowers? I mean, you do
I
plants.
could give you a plant in a pot, or I could give you some dried flowers.
Oh, yeah, let's do a pot. A pot of lavender.
Okay, that'll be 4 silver.
Does anyone have 4 silver I can borrow?
Yes, Bertie.
Thank you.
So, other than to come across here and apologize for the ruck in my shop, what else have you
And to
come-
give you some business.
Yep, and to give us some business. However, is there something else that I can help you with?
Did you find my invite?
What invite?
Oh.
I sent an invite to the inn.
No, I never received it. However, if I do receive one in future, I shall add it to my diary.
Can I
Beauregard,
roll
did you
inside
not-
to see
did
if
you
he
not
actually
take
got
it?
the invite?
Roll a perception check.
Yeah. Natural 20.
On first roll.
For a total of?
Natural 20 for a grand total of 26.
You don't know.
I don't know.
No.
With a natural
20.
You think he's definitely evading the question, but you don't know whether he received it.
Investigators.
The natural 20 with the 26 failed, hence it would increase it to a success. So you know he's evading the question.
Okay.
Beauregard, did you not drop this off to Barnaby? I told you to.
Your eyes sort of slither down towards Beauregard. Beauregard's eyes switch between each other. They turn and they look backwards and forwards, and then they look up at you, and they just if the snail could shrug, he would shrug.
Xander looks at Barnaby and says, "You're looking rather evasive, Barnaby."
I'm
Can I
always evasive.
Can I do a recall knowledge for Beauregard, see if he can remember whether last night he did?
Yeah, go for it.
That'll be a 19.
Beauregard's fairly sure he delivered it to Barnaby. Whether it's the Barnaby or a Barnaby, you're not entirely sure.
No, the only reason we came here was to apologise for the.
Well, that's
reckless-
nice of you to come out of your way just to do that.
Well, it's not really out of our way. We're sort of headed this direction anyway.
No, it is out of our way, and we decided to come all this way out of our way to apologise to you specifically, because you are helping us, and we really appreciate it.
Have you made any progress with what we discussed yesterday?
Well, it was quite late by the time we were able to catch up to Xander and ensure that some mediation took place. So it's kind of on the list for today.
Bertie gained some new information. Can I just tell
And you
Barnaby?
recount
Yeah, I
it.
It's
recount.
not really your dream to tell, Xander.
Yeah, but Bertie looks like he's gathering flowers for his love quest.
Love quest, baby love
I'll let
quest.
Xander tell the story.
Yeah,
To recount the details of the dream,
Yeah,
and Barnaby's like, well, that is quite frightening. So-
yes, we're going to head to see Seraphine again at the temple.
Sounds like a smart move. I can try and find an expert on psychopomps.
That would be helpful because
I'll
we
make
also
some inquiries.
planning to head to the library and Vigil's Hope as well.
Well, since we're talking about the missing people, are we heading over to Visual's Hope?
Yes, for the missing people over to the Vigil's Hope.
Well, I would consider that more time critical than a visit to the library.
Yes, but we're going to go to. This is just our list of things we have to do over the next however long.
So let me get this straight. You're all planning to go from here to the Temple of Desner, and then eventually to Vigil's Hope.
Yeah, we're doing the temple and then Vigil's Hope.
I'm in the middle of the city. The Temple of Desner is back the way you came,
crap!
and is about an hour that way by foot.
Well, we'll have to go that way to get to the Precipice Quarter anyway.
No, the Precipice Quarter is in the other direction.
Okay, well, this is Laura talking because she doesn't know the geography, so we would have stopped off at the temple before we went to Barnaby's. If
No, we've made the mistake.
It's fine.
If
You
Xander made
guys
the
aren't
mistake,
locals.
Look, guys, I think this is all working out. Barnaby, can you just look after my lavender plant for a
I'll
little
tell you
bit
what, I'll
longer?
look after your lavender plant.
We'll
You can
go
come back
save the missing acolytes who totally need saving in the Precipice Quarter, who you guys really
I am
don't
sure
seem to get.
Seraphine will be so pleased that you put that above going to see her.
Yeah, you don't have to tell her.
No, I am fairly certain that as a good cleric of Desna, she would appreciate you putting the welfare of others above your quest to deliver her lavender.
I suppose we are good. And anyway, yeah, let's go do that.
Yep. Westgate is on the west side of town. Eastgate, which is adjacent to the Precipice Quarter, is on the east side of town.
Yeah, Katarra does have a map, but Laura can't remember stuff, so...
What's that good memory you were talking about?
that was Katarra's good memory.
Katara isn't local, so she gets the map, other than always constantly having a map out like a tourist.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to stay behind a little bit once everyone's out the shop.
everybody starts leaving the shop and you hang back.
Barnaby,
Yeah?
here's a couple of silver.
Do you want some lavender as well?
No, send a couple of bouquets of lavender to Seraphine at the temple and sign them from Bertie.
I can certainly do that. That's 8 silver.
You look like such a creep.
It's like we found this young virgin boy. We thought, let's get him laid.
Isn't that the way of the world?
I will think of an appropriate message that will not come across as stalkerish.
Oh yes, no, stalkerish, but
Make him sound very smooth.
You're not here.
Oh. I'm talking to
Matilda,
Barnaby.
who are you talking to?
Matilda just, her head comes around the door. Make him sound smooth. I can make anybody sound smooth.
I'm sure you can. Just ensure it is signed from Bertie.
I will make sure of that. Good luck with the finding of the missing people.
We'll see. Yeah, and then we'll go over to Vigil's Hope.
Okay, so you head back towards the Precipice Quarter, and it's a fair jaunt because there are no cabs or carts or carriages you can get in the Precipice Quarter. However, eventually you do find your way to Vigil's Hope, which is on the outskirts of the quarter, towards the edge of the city, basically. And you find yourself coming towards what seems to be a former guard armory and attached barracks that's been reinforced and surrounded by palisade walls and defensive platforms. However, entirely all of these modifications to make it a miniature fortress seem to have been from scavenged materials. They look like metalwork and woodwork that's been collected from the rubble and then repurposed to construct the defensive fortifications. As you start to approach, you can see that there are various scorch marks and chips and dents and cuts all around the palisade wall, which suggest this place isn't necessarily a quiet place to station anybody. As you get near, there's 2 people standing at the main gate. One is an Ayavaran, and one seems to be an orc.
Morning.
Hey.
How you doing?
I was doing... I'm doing pretty well. We haven't... I'm still alive.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
What
in
are
this
you
place,
doing in a place like this?
What do I what?
What are you doing in a place like this?
He looks down... The Eye of Aran looks down at his uniform and looks up at you, and he just screws his face up slightly. I work here.
No, we do, but it's very dangerous, didn't you know?
Well, that's the whole point. That's why I work here, to try and make it less dangerous for all of the people of Absalom.
How's it going?
Wonderful.
The orc looks at you and is like, about as well as can be expected, really.
We were hoping to speak with the Watcher Lord.
Do you have an appointment?
Yes.
Well, it's regarding
Yes, we do.
the...
He pulls out a list, starts looking at name.
Can I kind of try and get Beauregard to sneeze really heavily or something to distract him so that I can try and read a note from through the paper?
Roll a deception check.
Wait, Ivar, is that an elf or a half elf?
Half elf.
Half elf, okay.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. The guard hears the sneeze from Beauregard, looks, and as Beauregard sneezes, he releases the paper with one hand and it curls back up. So you have about 2 seconds to read it, and you catch the name, David Smith.
I actually have a friend called David Smith, so this goes out to him.
David Smith,
I'm
you've been immortalised.
Yep. I'm like, yes, we are. I'm David Smith. I'm David Smith, and it's obviously spelled wrong. It might be Davina, but I'm here to see the Watcher Lord.
Really? You're not... He scrolls down the list a bit further. You're not Barnaby Strucker's party.
Oh, I wish. But also, yes.
Davina's alone. We are Barnaby Strucker's party.
Right, you guys can go in. David Smith is barred.
Brilliant.
What if the Davina is in Barnaby's group as well?
Yes. I
What
need
a
a double booking.
roundabout
I'm
way we've
sorry. I
gone
was
through
confused how
this.
this worked.
Specific overrules, General. I'm afraid. Which means Davina is not going in.
Okay, I'll just go for a little walk with Beauregard, and I'll see you later.
You've got a serial killer after you.
Oh, yes, did you hear about
If you
that?
stay with the guards, they'll protect you.
That's not promised.
The Eye of Aaron looks at you and says, I'm fairly certain that if you tell us your real name, we could probably clear this misunderstanding up quite quickly.
I'm Bethilde Davina Smith.
It's all coming out.
That's it. It's my middle name.
Right. You are on the list then, Bethilde, yes. And
this is
a
Beauregard.
giant snail, yes. It's listed
And
next
it's
to-
sort of like when he sneezed, it looked like there's still just like a load of like slime just sort of weeping out of him. And even though Bethilde keeps looking better, Beauregard is not looking any better. He still looks really, really gross.
So your list actually specified giant snail.
This list, yes.
And
I mean, that's
and
kind
you
of
didn't- and
offensive that you didn't put his name.
And you didn't
Let me
deduce
stop you
that.
both there.
You're like, oh no, that's going to be the other
How-
person with a
how-
giant
This
how
is
snail.
not the
often
way
do you
to endear ourselves to the guards who
Listen,
will permit us entry.
I'm a little bit tired. I've got a bit of a headache. It
So
was
you
a
should
tough.
shush.
Wait. He looks like he had a really good night last night.
He did.
I
you
Yes, he
really
went to the
did.
very, very best establishment in all of the puddles. It's the Wandering Barnacle. Have you ever heard of it?
Oh, I've heard of that place, yeah.
Yes, it was a rousing evening, wasn't it?
Yes,
We're
it's
meant to have a crusade there soon.
sometimes it seems, sometimes it seems quite sleepy, but really livens up in the evenings.
That's what I've heard. You see, that's why we're going to have a crusade. We're going to burn out of there all of the non-believers.
Oh yeah.
No.
Let me know. I'll come heal you guys.
We're going to turn that hive of scum and villainy into a place that Iomade herself could work in.
I mean, I'm feeling like there's an awful lot of scum and villainy around here this
Stop.
moment.
Right there, Bethilde. Where can we find the Watcher Lord?
Follow me. And he
Okay.
turns around and leads you in. You, Katarra, you would know from his body language and the way he was behaving that he is definitely making up the fact that there's going to be a crusade. And
Yeah.
he is just winding Bethilde up, considering that she's just been pretending to be somebody else.
Remember what I said about
Davina
thinking
Smith,
before you
Smith
speak?
never forgets her name.
Davina
What was her
Smith.
name again?
My name is David Smith.
Nice to meet you. Funnily, that's a strange coincidence.
Actually, I'm Shale Aragwin.
Okay, Shane Arabin.
Shale. It's got an L in it.
Shane Arabin, I will remember your name now.
I'm so glad. Follow me. And he leads you across the courtyard. He leads you into the main gate and across the courtyard where two goblins are working on one side. A couple of carts are being unloaded by some people in tunics and the other kind of apparel that you would wear beneath armor or when you're in kind of doing civil tasks or civic tasks rather than
Civic tarts.
civil civic tasks.
Civil tarts.
When you're doing manual labour that you don't want to be wearing your armor for, basically.
Yeah.
Seems to be a barracks building which looks like it's been turned into a mess hall, and then a two-story armory which looks like it's a bunkhouse in the bottom and some sort of office or something at the top. He leads you across up the stairs towards the second floor of the armory building and knocks on the door, after which there's a call from inside and he pushes the door open. It's very nice to meet you all. Please, the Watcher Lord is expecting you. And then he just moves back down the stairs and leaves you to it.
So can we walk into this room?
You step inside and you see a tall, broad-shouldered man in armor, very short hair, looks like it's been shaved close to his head, and a woman who is long blonde hair pulled back in a number of braids that seem to have been wrapped together. And both of them seemed to be deep in conversation until there was a knock at the door. They both stopped whatever they were doing. The man himself is leaning over a desk looking at various different papers, and the woman has a couple of rolls of paperwork herself that she's holding in her hands. The man just sort of turns to you and says, "Welcome."
Hello, I'm Bethilde, Barnaby Centres.
You are the ones Barnaby sent. I see.
That is what she said.
Yeah.
Okay, might I ask which one of you is the Watcher Lord?
I am the Watcher Lord.
Lordess, Lord.
I am Lord Olthan II.
Lovely to meet you.
It's a
Yeah.
pleasure.
We understand some people have been going missing.
Yes, that is exactly what me and my associate here were currently discussing. This is Barabel Starshine. And the woman turns to you all and gives you a bright smile. It's like, hi.
Oh, wasn't
That is a
it?
beautiful name.
Yes,
I
it's
like to think so. I chose it myself.
It's a name we've heard before because the acolyte from the
We were recommended to speak to Bearable.
yes, the spiral shrine had a note to just come and speak to you.
The two of them exchange a look. And you mean Telandris Varium?
That's the one. Yeah.
There was a note in his, what, drawer?
That's not what I said.
Where did you find
His
it?
drawers.
Well, we the Spiral Shrine were concerned about his whereabouts, so they asked us to investigate. So we did just have a look in his room for any leads as to what may have happened to him. And there was a note about speaking to yourself, Bereville, and something about antidotes or something.
Oh.
So I'm not really sure what's going on here.
We did see some very strange large bugs in some jars as well, so I wonder if the antidotes are for those.
Where did you find strange bugs in jars?
Didn't we? I thought we saw some weird things in jars.
You did. You
We
found
saw
strange
It was
bugs
in-
in
it was
jars.
It was in the crypt.
It was in the crypt.
Yeah.
It's like maybe it was antidotes for those. I mean, I don't know why that would be connected, but
We are terrible at explaining ourselves.
We
Yes.
really
Yeah,
are.
really are. Yeah.
Can we who's the most sensible one of us?
I mean, I'm already
Hello.
talking.
Well,
Beauregard,
you
I
two,
think
you
should
two have been
explain it
given
to
an
the nice
attempt.
man.
Where's Alti when you need?
Yeah.
Ulti is leaning up against the wall by the door, just shaking her
Isn't
head slowly.
Tuppence the leader?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, God.
I am the leader. So,
Captain Tuppence, we call him.
hello, Watcher Lord. I am very pleased to make your acquaintance. And he bows low, waving the hat that he nicked when he originally met you all. That he decided to put on this morning because Katarra, you never wear it, so Tuppence is now using it. He sort of bows low, flailing this hat. Yep, Me and my associates here have had a terrible time recently. We've fought a giant automaton that was grafting people's innards to it. And we've also discovered that there was a charlatan who's no longer a charlatan because he's very dead. However, I don't know why we're here. What are we doing? We're helping people, right?
Turns out Tuppence is as bad at talking as the rest of us. Minesh, you're up.
No, are you okay? You've got to stop inhaling those cobwebs.
Right, so we're here because these people have gone missing. And
Yes,
Barnaby
yeah,
wants us to help.
And
Yes.
the note from Talvadon said...
Talandress,
Yes, that's
that
the-
one.
Yes, I'm a bit busy dying.
What are we
over-
telling Andress?
Don't die. Hugo, how's this? And she spits on you.
Please, I'm just a bit busy choking.
You get 7 temporary hit points.
Right, lovely.
Nice.
Yes, he had a note, and he's also gone missing. But the note referred to Berreville. It referred to some antidotes. We did find ourselves in the Grizzly Fair not so long ago, and that was where we discovered this crypt with these jars of bugs.
I see. Interesting. You have certainly been making yourselves busy in this quarter.
Well, not really through choice, more circumstance.
Perhaps you have to understand that circumstance is what brings us most of us to do these things.
Well, it is a lovely quarter, and we've been finding that really it's not that hard to find yourself having to do a lot as you wander around this area.
That's my experience as well. It is hard not to end up in circumstances that require some degree of attention.
So do you have
Speaking
any-
of circumstances, we have been told that there are a significant portion of people missing who you would like help to find.
He looks towards Berreville and nods slowly, and Berreville goes, "So, yeah, that's right. There's a half-dozen knuckleheads who should have, well, known better, but they didn't. And how they're gone. And
Last known location?
well, you see, that's where it gets a little bit interesting. She pulls a slip of paper out of her pocket and starts unfolding it and then checking what seem to be really neatly written notes. You see, from what I've been able to understand, these, about a week and a half ago, this guy, Talandress, this acolyte from the temple, comes into Vigil's Hope and then decides to start babbling about nightmares to do with bugs and children.
Oh, yes.
Or something of the like. Anyway, he was told we couldn't help him because the situation here is a little bit tenuous. We've not got the resources to spread around, you see. And the Watcher Lord nods. Yes, sadly it is a case that we are thin on the ground and still in a recruitment drive. And unfortunately, when people start to go missing, it tends to dampen spirits of those who would otherwise be allies. And then Berreville picks up. So this guy comes in, right? And he starts talking about these things. Bugs, children, sounds really dangerous. So a bunch of them decide that they're going to get together, and then they follow him.
Follow him where?
Well, from what I managed to understand, and my best guess, is that they've gone to Stinger Scar.
That's a bad thing?
Well, there's certainly a lot of bugs there.
We've
like
heard
the
of
bugs
Stinger
in
Scar
the
before,
drawers.
haven't we?
You've heard about you've kind of when you found the notes about bugs and children, you heard about bugs and children. The first two things that you considered and started thinking about was, is there a school, and is there a place with loads of bugs in the quarter? And you remembered stories about both there being a haunted school and the fact that there is a place with loads of bugs. And in fact, the place with loads of bugs is not too far from the Precipice Quarter, the Grizzly Fair, so you would have seen it.
Okay.
From a distance. You would certainly
Yeah.
hear the thrumming of the swarm. It's very difficult to miss, but you don't know much about it beyond it's there.
And where is Stinger Scar?
Well, it's on the cliff, partway between the Grizzly Fair and the school. And, well, you see, when the earthquake struck, a lot of things fell into the sea. And part of the gardens that were there, the pleasure gardens, these pavilions and shade trees and amusements of all sorts, part of it fell into the sea. And the other part was swarmed by these hundreds of insects. Just hundreds of them suddenly appeared. No one knows why. But apparently they stayed there because they liked it so much. And then the worst thing happened. They seemed to start breeding with each other when they shouldn't be. And so they've got all of the good parts of Mommy and Daddy and mixed together. At least that's what people who know more about bugs than me tell me. But, so yeah, Stinger Scar, weird place.
I noticed you affectionately called them knuckleheads for going there. Suppose another group of people were intending to also go there. What steps could they take to, not be more knuckleheads?
Well, you lot look like you know how to handle yourselves. You're already talking about walking around the quarter and doing some stuff. So I would imagine that elevates you above Knucklehead. These guys were only recently joined.
Oh.
What possessed them to join Telandris into this voyage?
Well, they're worried about the children. Somebody comes charging in, yelling about bugs and children. You might not take him very seriously, but even anybody's got to be wondering, is there something in it? Is there children at risk?
Yeah, but under my understanding, there hasn't been children in this area for
No.
a long time.
Unless they too have been going missing.
Oh, we're back to the knuckleheads and they didn't really stop to think about it.
That's possibly true. Sometimes people want to do some good and they're fed up with lounging around here or something. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't get the idea that you need to be trained before you start wandering off into dangerous places.
Yeah, training would be really sensible before
You look like a really well-trained cleric.
yeah, sure.
He's very, very good at his job.
Guys, thank you.
He's going
Healed
red.
loads of people, like lots.
He's
She
very
looks
humble.
at Bertie and gives him a wink. You're going really red.
Anyway, I'm fairly sure Tuppence and Katarra are trained in boats and ships and things.
I'm trained in a lot of things, including
Cannons.
how to
See?
hatchet things to death,
Yes.
how to
I'm-
use my shield.
I'm trained to some degree. I would describe myself as self-trained.
She's possibly the best fighter among us.
Yes. I mean, I think that's mostly Beauregard. He is like a tough little snail.
And do you
I
have,
don't know what
And
we've
just goes
been
like-
through to give you that idea.
do you have any other information
She beat
about
you, didn't she?
No.
Stinger's scar? About what
You nearly killed me.
perhaps what perhaps is there, or any other intel on the area?
Well, I can tell you what arrived there 20-odd years ago, but what's in there now? Your guess is as good as mine. However, it started off as a mix of scorpions, hornets, flies, and wasps. Now, I've been able to catch a few of the blasted things on the outskirts of the scar, and I took them to an entomologist over at the Arcanarium.
Oh, you're smart.
I know. That's why I'm here.
And what was his name? This
Albus Morrigan.
Albus.
He's a tenured docent over there at the Arcanarium. His research focuses on magic-infused and magic-born critters. He wrote a thesis, or at least he told me about it, about life in the Manor Wastes a century ago, if you care to read those kind of things. I was intended to go check in with him, but I've got to go and play diplomat again this morning. So if you're interested in helping out, that could certainly be something you could do for me.
check in with him first before.
I would check in with the guy who knows about bugs before you go walking into the bugs.
At the risk of sounding like a knucklehead, do you expect there's going to be a significant benefit to talking to him? Because, if people are dying to bugs,
I mean,
It's taken us a good couple of hours to get here, so to then go back, it just seems.
why don't you have one of these clamshell cards?
Because I asked about a clamshell card and got told it was not possible.
Oh, here, have mine. I'll get another one.
I'm a shell cards. Well, who knew?
Yeah.
Is the Arcana Miriam anywhere near the Temple of?
There's
Bethilde?
I don't think so.
You could take a circuitous route back.
Is it only me, or is like every third word that she says like not a word that anyone understands here?
The Arcanarium is more north, is in the wise quarter of.
Yes, it's
Is
just
there?
that's where
Whereas-
Albus Morrigan is the bug expert that we need to speak to before
Albus?
going into the.
Yeah, as she mentioned, Albus, you all were, well, you in particular, Xander, remember, you found his book.
Ooh,
It was in the crypt.
Can I do like a society check?
We kept
to see
it,
if I
didn't we?
know anything
Yeah,
about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we don't need to go meet him. We've already got his book.
So the Temple of Desna is over in Westgate,
Ah, yes,
and
geography.
the Arcanarium is in the Wise Quarter.
Wow, yeah, it's nowhere near each other, is it? Oh, Carl
Barnaby's
looks much
is
better as a
here.
map.
Eastgate, Precipice Quarter.
Can we get this as a T-shirt?
You want the map as a
For
T-shirt?
our listeners, Kyle's holding up a map
Of Absalom.
of Absalom, so that we
Yeah.
can all try and work out where the hell we are
Yeah.
and what's going on.
Westerhold.
Well, I'm sure we'll put it up so that you guys can see it as well.
Right, so we're in the
Sometimes Carl and
Precipice
Xander
Quarter.
merge into one
Where,
personality.
where are we going to? What are options? This is what I'm just trying to work out. So we're in the Precipice Quarter, and that's the Wise Quarter. But if we want to go to the temple, that's in Westgate.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
I really feel like being unwise and just going and face-checking these bugs.
Well, the thing is, we've been.
We do have a book about it. I mean, what
We
else do you
have
need to
been-
know?
But we have been running headfirst into danger without thinking and without planning, and that hasn't gone too
Well,
well.
I mean, nobody's died.
Do we
Yes.
need to get anything else to
Yeah.
give to him to analyze or anything?
well, he
Yeah,
may
like-
have already analysed the samples that.
Well,
Bertie
you
found.
see, I mean, these bugs are weird. You don't want to just go charging there. It's not like taking a giant fly swat is going to solve the problem.
How
I think
about
it-
a giant fire?
That could help.
I think it is
And-
worth speaking to an expert before we go head first into what will be
What's
a
the-
dangerous situation.
They've already been missing a week. A
They're
few
prob-
hours isn't going to hurt them at this point. They're probably... Look, I don't expect you to find them alive. Let's put it that way.
Everyone's just assuming they're dead.
I have told you before the statistics about
They
missing
could have
people.
turned into a bug.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be horrible.
Well, I think
And
we...
entirely, probably...
I suppose if we want to, I mean, it's possible that some of us might have, been a bit busy drinking and having fun last night and might have forgotten to pray to Pharasma about the spells we could have. So I suppose if we wanted to delay
Why
a
don't
day...
some of us stay here and do some training and do some why don't we do some sword work and things like that, and then the other one can go and find out some answers and meet
No,
us back here.
I
Yeah.
think we should...
And by then we'll be really, really good at fighting, and also we'll have helped put some weapons together.
The Watcher Lord scoops a bunches of papers on his desk into a pile and taps them and looks at you with the greatest respect. You don't look like you are a sword user.
Many people have
No,
underestimated
you are
her.
correct. I am definitely more of a fisticuffs type. And she sort of does
Yeah.
like a little 1-2 punch in the
I
in
think
the
it
air,
is best that we
which
do...
looks really pathetic.
Yeah.
We do all stick together, because once we get to the Arcan... I can't...
The Arcanum
Yeah, I can't say that word. I'm never going to be able to say that word. Some of us
The
could...
book place.
Wise quarter.
I believe in you, Laura.
Some of us can go and speak to Albus, while some of us can try to look for information about the psychopomp.
Yeah, it was split up.
Split up and
the
search for
Wise
clues.
Quarter.
Bertie, why don't me and you? I think that we might learn more from the people of the Wise Quarter. So why don't we go and do some sort
No,
of
because
on
there are
padding the floor,
No,
trying to
no,
find some
because
answers
we've got
together.
two
I think this
pieces
sounds
of
like a great idea.
information we need to find in the library.
Xander's
Okay.
going to walk up to
the
Bertie.
library sounds so fun.
Xander's going to walk up to Bertie. He's going to get down his level, and he's going to kind of put his arm over his shoulders and say, "Do not listen to a word that woman says. It is not a good idea. It will never be a good idea. Go to the temple and speak to the people there." Okay.
Minesh, why don't you come with us? And then that way you can keep us in check, since everyone's so worried that we're going to cause trouble.
Minesh is definitely the sensible chaperone you should send with us.
Minesh
Surely
is
we
the
should
sensible
stick together,
chaperone.
considering there's a serial killer after us.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, but the serial killer's after Minesh, and Minesh
They
is
will
going to
be
be
after us by association
with me
the
and
fact
Bethilde,
that-
and I can heal Minesh, and Bethilde is the best fighter in the group,
Well,
so we'll be fine.
you said we're going to see people, so we'd
Why do
have
you lie?
allies around us all the time if
Exactly.
we were ever ambushed.
Not necessarily. Not everyone
One
is your
thing I will
ally.
say, the way it works with the library research kind of mini game essentially is the more people you have there, the more people that can roll, the better chance you have of getting all the information.
Mini games.
But I am just that good.
As am I. But no, I think we should all go to the library.
Okay.
Okay,
Look.
fine.
You say that, but look, watch this. No, it doesn't matter.
I
We'll all
literally
go to
ran
the
away from
library,
home.
and then I will buy you all a drink.
I mean, that's not what I was thinking, but okay.
We don't have a drinking problem. I don't know why
Guys
you think
drink
that's
a
the
lot.
bribe. Yeah.
I mean, it
I
comes
drink,
from being in a
I
pub.
drink a lesser amount than my fellow crew people.
I still have a headache from last night. I don't know if I want to.
Well, We drink because we are. However, surely we should ask if there's anything they can give us, Governor.
Oh, yeah, weapons.
Well, not weapons. Perhaps these antidotes that
Fire.
thingamajiggy was going on
Bug
about.
spray.
The Watcher Lord looks at you. He's like, I don't know whether we have any antidotes.
Okay, well,
You could check with Quartermaster Cole.
or any healing potions.
Speak
or...
to the goblin outside.
Okay, so
He'll be able to tell you what we've got. He's likely to be able to sell you some things at cost price.
right. Okay.
And also, if you can get his brother to pay attention to you, he's a rather taciturn fellow. Unfortunately, his scars are less physical and more mental. But if you can get him to pay attention, he will obviously help you with runes on your weapons.
All right, so
I think you could put a rune on a snail.
I don't think he could put a rune on a snail. He could put a rune on barding. Or clothing.
I mean, a shell is kind of like barding.
Not really.
It's like
Barding
clothes.
is...
not exactly sure the Watchlord is an expert for this.
Okay,
so
yes,
it's
let's go
perhaps-
ask the angry man outside.
So you all kind of turn around, and it just as you see in the corner of your eye, Katarra, a shake of the head from Barabel as you all are turning around, and she just looks at the Watchlord.
Thank you,
We get some right
Watchlord.
characters in this place.
Tell me about it.
Thank you for your time.
You
We'll
all
see
go
again
outside,
soon.
and as you head down to the bottom of the steps, you see two goblins on the other side of the courtyard. One of them has currently got a clipboard, which is basically a plank of wood with a load of wads of paper, sheets of paper nailed to it, and he's flicking through them. And the other one is just there working at an anvil, and he's just ching, ching away at a sword.
Hello there.
Oh, hello!
Oh my god, that's so loud when you've got a headache.
Could you just, I'm very sorry to ask, but could you
You
just
know, are
lower
you
your
related
voice
to
a
that
little
crew
bit?
that works in a shop?
No!
You sound very similar.
Do I?
He's a goblin.
That crew is that crew in an outfit?
I think I know the shop you mentioned.
in
I've
any-
always meant to go there and see if I could pluck his tail feathers.
In any,
Do you reckon it'd be nice if we spit roasted him?
No.
I
What
feel
does
like
that
you poke your eyes out.
Well, you get a spear and you jab it through them and you put them over a fire and you turn them.
In any event,
Yeah?
we're going to be heading into Stinger's Scar.
Oh, poor you.
Wow, poor bugs.
Yeah, well, poor you too.
And wondered if there was anything useful you had.
Well, I'm
sale.
glad you asked. He turns the clipboard to you and points to the page. I've got this stuff if you're interested in purchasing it.
Well,
What's on the list?
Cold iron longsword, silver dagger, composite shortbow, a light mace. There's some a chain shirt, a breastplate, studded leather, scale mail, a steel shield, a sturdy shield, some minor healing potions, a lesser anti-plague, 2 lesser antidotes, an oil of potency, a scroll of heal, first rank, a scroll of runic weapon, first rank, a scroll of bless, holy water glow rods, caltrops, climbing kit, everlight crystals, an alloy orb, fear gem, and a mesmerizing opal.
well, as you've already mentioned, we are rather poor.
Oh, that's a shame for you.
Yeah, poor
Well,
us.
is there a discount
No.
available? If
This
we-
is cost price. What do you expect?
No,
Otherwise,
no, but I meant if we buy multiple items.
no, there's no discount.
There's no
This is
collection.
not a
You've
shop.
asked,
I'm a
you've asked this
quartermaster.
every single time. He's never said yes. But there will never be a
I'm
bulk
trying
deal.
to save the party
But,
money.
but it's never going to work.
I'm
It'll
the
never be bulk.
quartermaster for an army.
What
well,
about a payment plan?
no, I'm the quartermaster for a regiment of soldiers.
So, you said there was an anti-plague. There's an anti-plague potion,
An anti-plague
and an antidote.
and 2 antidotes.
What's the difference between those two?
Anti-plague is for diseases.
Okay.
Antidotes are for poisons.
And how
Right.
much-
Are there any like magical scrolls or spells or anything?
You
Heal,
weren't paying
runic,
attention.
heal runic weapon and bless.
How much are the potions, the antidotes, and the
4 gold each.
right for the antidotes?
There's also 2 minor healing potions and
Yeah.
an oil of potency.
So
So it's 12 gold for all 3.
How many minor healing potions are there?
2.
2, and how much are those?
4 gold each.
Is the brother here?
He's at the back just ticking. Well, he doesn't say much, but he's a blacksmith.
Could he make some like a special armor for my snail?
You want him to armour your snail? I mean, what do you
mean-
think, Copper? Copper just, and at the back, this goblin turns around. He's got soot across his face.
He's only a
sweating,
small snail.
and he just like,
I mean, he does seem to end up in combat a lot, and it just might kind of help. Or
he grabs
or
he
even-
grabs a roll of string and starts wandering over to the snail and holding the string out. And the string has got little markers taped around it. Looks like little bandages that have been tied to give it a length. And he just starts measuring.
I mean, it'd be amazing if you could have something that was kind of part saddle and part armor, so that I have a tendency to fall off him occasionally. And it'd be really nice if that didn't happen.
And he wanders back to his forge and starts writing on a piece of paper.
Charming fellow.
Oh, he's very charming. It's just that he saw a lot of his mates die.
Oh, unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate. He also says...
He looks around at him and the other one's like,
20 gold will give you some barding.
Oh, I don't think I have that much money.
He also says if you'd like any fundamental runes transition from one weapon to the other, he'll do them at 2 gold, 5 silver each rune.
I don't think we have any...
+1 potency runes. You can move them onto a different weapon.
Yeah, but we haven't got any spare weapons with +1 runes.
Tuppence looks at you like, well, I've got a +1 short sword that I could turn into a +1 hatchet or a +1 shield.
Correct, we kept that quiet, Tuppence.
Well, you gave me the short sword when we found it.
So you were there.
No,
You were there. We just killed
and then he kept
Bethilde.
it quiet that he didn't want to transfer. So how much was that? 2.5 gold?
Yeah.
Okay.
If Copper would be so nice as to make the barding, would we be paying on collection?
Yeah, that's what happens. You pay on collection.
Yeah, so we can order now.
It'll take him about a week to do.
Yeah, then we just do a
that'd be
trip
enough
to like the
time.
coins.
Yes. Okay, that sounds like a right deal. Let's. What about 18,
Roll a diplomacy.
It's not bulk.
17?
20.
How about 19?
No, 20.
If
I'm a quartermaster,
can
not
I
a market
pay you the 2
stallholder.
gold in kind? And she sort of winks.
No, my wife heard I have a problem with that.
Wife was well. I can. I okay.
You have a wife, but you do this job in this quarter. Seems risky.
I mean,
I shouldn't.
why
have to
not?
pay the bills
I'm
somehow.
helping people.
Yeah, you're a good guy.
I like to think so.
We'll take the healing potions and the antidotes and the anti-plague.
All right, that'll be.
The barding.
I'm not paying for the bargain.
That's going to be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 gold pieces.
Yeah, give them the 20.
Hooray! There we go. Look at that.
And he puts it in a collection box.
Cool. So we just come back in a week for the barding, having saved the city from bugs.
Tuppence produces his own 2 gold, 2.5 gold to get his rune transferred.
Do you have anything that's like a very big fly swatter?
No, I haven't got any of that. I haven't thought about stocking those in the quartermaster's sort of
I mean,
cash.
considering there seems to be really deadly bugs in parts of the precipice quarter.
Usually a sword or fireball works just as well.
Fire.
What about a net? Oh, do you have any nets?
Oh, I've got one of those you can have for free.
Can I have that?
Yeah, sure.
And he goes
I mean-
and grabs a net and brings it out to you, and you realise as soon as he gives it to you why he's giving it to you for free, because there's a giant hole in it.
Well, that can be fixed. Fishermen do it all the time.
Oh yes, I bet you seem like you know your way around some rigging, Katarra. A net and rigging is the same sort of thing, isn't it?
No, they're 2 completely different things.
Can
Oh.
you give us a definition of both and explain to us what the difference is?
Katarra can, Laura can't. One is a net and the other one is ropey.
Well, rigging is designed to maintain weight and usually is for climbing. A net is usually to strain things out of the water and is designed to
I'm
catch.
thinking we could be nice if we had something that we could throw over a group, because I think if I were fighting a swarm of bugs, I'd be worried that they'd all dissipate. Whereas if you could keep them together, it's much easier to kill them all together.
I think we're talking about hundreds of thousands of bugs.
So a really large jar then.
The largest jar I've got is like for clamshells.
Don't worry about that, but I don't think we need anything else from here, so
Oh, fine, okay.
I suggest we go and speak with Albus.
And then
All
we're
right.
going to go and.
Well, it
have
was
a
lovely to meet
outing.
you.
No, we decided we were all going to stay together.
Oh, a group grift. I see. I mean,
It's probably for the best. We can search through the library quicker.
Exactly.
yeah. Search the.
Oh, a library. That sounds exciting.
Yes.
It really is. There's truly an enormous amount of information there. It is fascinating.
You know, I don't think I've ever found anything so boring as a book.
I mean,
I've literally seen what looked at dishwater, and
You
I
want
think
to
it was
know-
more interesting
you
than
I'm
want
books.
descended from a race of people who thought writing was scary.
But you also have to remember, Bethilde, that the library will possibly have information about the psychopomp.
And
If
also,
it's got
and
some
also on
nice
the
pictures of
post,
snails, then I'd probably be up for that. But that's
Yes,
about
I'm
it.
pretty sure there's a
And
book
also-
called The Very Hungry Snail.
and also most importantly, on the poster you made for me when I was barred from your pub, you spelled bard wrong. So maybe a library would help you out in the long run.
What I need to know is whether you're allowed in the pub or not.
Yeah, but it sounds like I'm a
Everybody's
musician.
loud in the pub.
Well, we can have this conversation as we walk towards the library.
Oh yes, by the way, watch out for sunflowers, just in case. If you see a fat sunflower, get away. Cause
Right.
There's one on.
I've seen loads around here.
There's a sunflower leshy that's out on the town trying to kill people and
Oh,
carve
right.
and carve into their faces. So
Oh, joy.
If he
So,
said if he said he's seen loads around here, can I roll perception and see if I see Sunny?
Roll a perception.
yeah, is there like one walking past
Yeah.
that's like
There's like a field of sunflowers and he's just there. But you
yeah,
can't
he's
see.
just walking.
Ooh, 22.
You think he's just pulling Bethilde's leg.
Okay, fair.
Yes, watch out for serial killer sunflowers.
Right, serial killer sunflowers. Is that cereal with a C?
Yes.
Right, okay. I'll watch out for them.
Let's
I
go.
think it's spelled C-E.
This isn't a spelling test,
Ah.
Bethilde.
While she's trying to figure this out, can we start walking?
E-L.
You start walking and head away as the goblin shakes his head behind and goes back to writing. And clearly the goblins had some education and knows how to spell and write. You leave Vigil's Hope and wind your way up into Eastgate, where you catch one of the horse and carts which take you across the city to the Wise Quarter, using the clamshell card that you conveniently were given by Baravel Starshine.
On the way over, if I get a chance to have a quick chat with Minesh away from the rest of them, I'll be
We're on a
like,
car.
well, you know, no, we had to walk to the car.
Everyone turn around, please.
We were walking to the car, and you know,
As
just,
you get off at the other end and start walking towards the Arcanumerium, because you have to, there's always going to be a walk into that building. You manage to find yourself dropping back slightly, walking in stride with Minesh, as the others are a little bit ahead of you. As Bethilde gives another one of her definitely not quite informed tours.
so Minesh, you ditch in the nose with
this
us when we
window-
get to the library and coming for some fun with me and Bethilde.
Are you guys actually going to ditch?
Oh, 100% ditching. I am not reading books this afternoon.
I feel like maybe if we like find some books, put them in a pile, and be like, "Look, we've found some books. We're just gonna look for some
Yeah,
more."
like-
we can then ditch after we put the pile down.
Start helping,
Yeah.
and then get a chance to disappear. Maybe stealing some books, because we need to make some money to
From
pay
the
for this.
library,
They might be worth something.
I feel like we'll get caught.
We'll assess the situation when we're there, but we definitely need to
Definitely
make
not.
20 gold in the next week to pay for the cladding.
I know that much. Yeah.
Okay,
And reading books ain't going to make us any money.
true.
Through that. Right, we rejoin the group.
You kind of catch back up to the group,
You
and
see those three crows? I'm pretty sure they're part of the watch.
How do you tell the difference between a crow and a raven?
A raven is bigger, substantially bigger.
I'm going to be honest, I always thought they'd be the same thing.
Yeah, same.
Perhaps you ought to read a book.
And then she sort of points at a seagull and says, "See, like that one there? It's all corvids."
Corvids.
Yes.
How do you know the
That's
word
only
corvid, but you don't know what a seagull is?
I sort of in the pub once said
as you
corvids.
as you ponder the answer to that question, you wander through the stone gate of the Arcanumerium. This huge, imposing, high black stone walls and these number of soaring towers that foster both a sense of security and an intimidating outward presence. There's a portcullis and red-robed guards wielding pikes standing either side of the entrance to remind visitors of how dangerous and potent a magic is. You're led inside. You walk inside, where immediately somebody bustles across the courtyard towards you, wearing the red uniform. And he says, "Hello, welcome. Are you here to see somebody? Do you have an appointment?"
We're here to see Albus Morrigan.
Really?
Yeah.
He's very popular recently. Is there something he's doing?
He's just doing some
bugs.
work.
To help with an investigation.
Oh, right.
Bugs.
Oh, well, in that case, follow me. I'll show you to the tower, and you can find your way from there. He leads you across the... By the way, my name's Kenny. It's nice to meet you all.
Kenny.
Kenny.
Easy to spell.
Easy to spell.
On our journey, let me know if you see if there's any sort of books of art history or
Art
any
history?
art
We have
books.
many books on art history in the library. Are you considering a particular area of history, a particular era maybe? Would you like the quartos neoclassical style?
I would say mostly I'm interested in what's the phrase? Natural studies of the human form.
Oh, well, we have a lot of anatomy
Are you
books,
looking
if that's
for a
what you
facts
mean.
of life book? I'm looking for naked pictures.
I mean, we have many books on anatomy. I could definitely show you the section. Are you attending?
I'm less of a sciencey way, more of an arty way.
Well, yes, we have art in the natural body, yes.
Yes, well,
Would
some
you like to-
natural bodies are an art, and she sort of gives him a wink.
Yes, I feel like I'm going into the danger zone here. And he leads you to the door of the tower, at which point he pushes open the door. Keep walking up. Second door on the left at the top landing. It's been very nice to meet you. Bye-bye.
Brilliant. Thank you. Bye.
Don't forget,
whatever.
section K, shelves 33 to 35.
I will maybe remember that.
Yes.
But Beauregard, write that down.
Beauregard looks at you.
Is this a quiet part of the building then? Like, if
Seems
we're-
reasonably quiet. Most of the students, there's a kind of students milling around in the courtyard. It's a very large courtyard, more of a quad. And the students are milling around, going in and out of the building. They seem to be attending lectures or leaving classes, a lot of them carrying books and quills and ink and other things. But this tower seems to be quieter. There seem to be less people moving around in this portion of the courtyard.
If we're going to the second door on the left, can I listen at the first door on the left and see if I hear anyone in there?
So you go all the way up the tower, and then as you reach the top, roll a perception check.
I think just Bertie.
I don't know what he's doing.
14?
14. You don't hear anybody in that room.
Can I have a look?
You tried the door, it's locked.
You think this is where we're going, Bertie? Is it in there?
What are you
yeah,
two
just-
doing? That's not Albus'
Looking for
room.
books. Is that not what we're looking for?
No, we're
Well, you
speaking
two
to
stand close
Albus.
by.
Okay.
This place can be very
wrong,
dangerous.
Wrong door.
It's
Sorry,
books.
just,
What are they going
I
to
could
do?
have sworn.
Flap?
I could have sworn
Come
he
out and
said
attack
first.
you, funnily enough.
He said first door on the left,
No,
didn't
you
he?
said the second door.
I
Oh,
thought
we
you said
best
the
go.
third door on the right.
I'm going to go behind Bertie and Bethilde and just basically shepherd them so that they
You can't start shepherding them down the hallway,
Yeah.
at which point you open the second door on the left. And a mix of stridulations and buzzing fills your ears as you step into the office of Albus Morrigan, immediately recalling the clamour of the swarm that you passed earlier when you were attempting to enter the Grizzly Fair, but much closer and much louder and more intense. Vivariums filled with hopping, flying, crawling and slithering insects fill tables, sideboards and shelves, interspersed with terrariums of odd-looking plants and bottles of preserved creatures and creature parts. Stacks of books and a crate of overflowing scrolls clutter the floor. A white-haired gnome with a boyish face and a wide grin sits on a stool peering at something through a magic microscope.
Albus?
Hello, who are you?
Well, I'm Katarra.
Oh, that's very nice. You know my name already, and now I know yours.
Yes, we've been
Super.
We've been speaking with Berreville at Vigil's Hope.
Oh, Berville, such a lovely young lady.
Yes, we've been tasked to investigate some people who've gone missing in Stinger's Scar.
Yes, that's what she was doing.
And she suggested that we come and speak with you.
Oh, really, did she? Oh, she sent you in her stead.
Yes.
I see.
Hello, I'm Bethilde. This is Beauregard.
Hello, how are you?
I'm
He hops
all
down
right.
off his stool. I'm very pleased to meet you, and he clasps your hand with two
Beauregard,
hands as he shakes you.
shake the nice man's hand.
Oh, this is a wonderful specimen of a gastropod mollusk.
Oh, yes. Do you know, I've always wondered what kind of snail he is.
I think he's an African giant land snail from another dimension.
Oh,
Yes.
how fabulous. I always wondered. I mean, it sort of... was a
I
very-
believe he's come across the multiverse to be here.
As
Ooh.
fascinating
You
as
never
this
told me that,
is,
Beauregard.
if
this
I
is
see-
not related to Stinger's scar.
Whilst they're talking, can I have a look around the room to see that I can figure out what he's actually studying and how far he's got along
roll a
now?
perception check or an arcana check.
So, what is it that you have found out from?
Oh, about the bugs. Is that what you want to know?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so.
He finally lets go of Bethilde's hand.
Oh, okay, fine. Follow me. Are you here about bugs as well?
She is with us. Yes.
Oh yes. We're going to somewhere where there's lots of bugs, and apparently you are the man to know.
Yes, I am the man to know if you need something that crawls or slithers.
Rolled a 23, by the way.
23.
Yeah.
You reckon, just from a quick glance over the room, that he's studying various different types of creatures and what looks to be their exposure to magical energies. And a lot of the vivariums have kind of exotic but natural bugs, and he seems to almost be introducing them to different magical energies at what seem to be non-lethal levels. Like you see one with a couple of little electrodes that are sparking in the atmosphere, not attacking the bugs, but just creating a charged environment. There's another where it seems to be that there's a heat underneath the vivarium. There's a little fire underneath it that seems to be heating the bottom of it, whether that's changing the material or something, you don't know. But he seems to be exposing them to different types of magical energies. Fire, electricity. There's one where you think it's sonic. He seems to be almost trying to determine whether those magical energies will create a metamorphosis.
Shout over to him. What have you found with the magical energies and their effects on these insects?
I'm glad you asked. I don't suppose you've read my thesis.
We
Have
haven't
I
got round
read
to
it?
yet.
Have I
You
read it?
flicked through it when you found it.
Funnily enough, yes, I have.
Oh, wonderful. Then you'll understand that in the manor wastes, many, many, many types of critters have become infused with magical energies. And the same thing happened in the world wound. You see, there were so many things that became just bizarre creatures. Like the apex predators of their types. It was truly magnificent, except for the demon things and the death, obviously. But anyway, what I have discovered is that certain magical energies can have a certain effect upon the natural bodies of insects. It's almost like some of them are more attuned to it than others. It doesn't appear to affect every one of the creatures, and he waves a hand at the vivariums, but it seems to be that 1 in 10 has some kind of almost arcane residue within them, or some kind of arcane battery. It absorbs the energy and creates mutation process within the creature.
When you say 1 in 10, do you mean 1 in 10 of every individual insect, or 1 in 10 of the species?
1 in 10 of the creatures in the vivariums.
Have you found out what the actual, what gives them their arcane link to?
No, that's what I'm still studying. However, I have discovered that it does mean that when these creatures are infused with magical energy, they can interbreed. Truly wonderful. It breaks down all we knew about the natural cycle of the world. It's fascinating.
Yes.
It is.
Fascinating.
And do you know what caused these?
Well, I did, because I exposed them to magical energies.
Right. Any particular magical energies have more?
Well,
of
the
an
most
impact?
effective seem to be electric and vitality.
And that promotes this interbreeding.
Well, it seems to break down the usual incompatibilities that we would expect to see between species. Have you ever seen a wasp and a bee on a date? No, you haven't.
So if we wanted to harm these bugs, we shouldn't use electrical vitality.
Well, I don't know what you're doing or what type of bugs you're trying to harm. I'm telling you about my research
Well,
in general.
we're going to Stinger's scar.
Oh,
so
those
can you-
bugs.
Yes. So can you tell us some useful
Oh,
information?
come with me.
He waddles over across the room towards what seems to be a desk set aside with a number of dishes on it, another larger microscope, and a row of sharp-bladed instruments. And there are bits of insect lying on different petri dishes across the tabletop.
He's like, well, I was hoping to learn how the insects have thrived in Stinger's Scar for so long. However, I'm not entirely sure at this stage. However, I do believe my theory about magical energies is what is making them interbreed, except on a much grander scale.
Do you know where the magical energies are coming from?
You see, that's the interesting point. I haven't a clue. When the insect is alive, there is definitely an arcane residue there that I can detect with a detect magic spell. However, as soon as they die, the energy is almost sucked out of them. It goes whoosh, and it's gone. so it's impossible to study in the post-mortems that I've been conducting. And he waves at
Have
the...
you had a live one? Would
Yes,
that be,
I had-
Would that be helpful?
I had a couple of live ones, and I could definitely detect it with my detect magic spell. And I'm very high level, you know.
Oh.
So there isn't
What a weird thing to say.
there isn't going to be like a source of magic in Stinger's scar that we could potentially cut off and therefore stop them breeding.
I suspect it's rather more widespread than just the scar.
Oh.
One
okay.
of the things that seemed to have happened in the quarter is that when the earthquake occurred, it released some form of energy. And certainly those of us who are tuned to it have been able to determine that there's definitely some kind of invisible corruption happening in the quarter that's been ongoing for some time.
A corruption in what way? You say...
It seems to affect people. Violent tendencies tend to be something that comes to the fore. The faster the person, or the more susceptible the person is to a shift in the natural order and a transition of warped magic, the faster they become very aggressive.
And seeing as you're so interested in studying these bugs,
Yes.
and you are interested in Stinger's scar, how would you feel about a field trip with us?
I am purely a researcher in my old age who prefers to stay at a desk,
But
away from the dangers.
whilst we prefer certain things in life, you know, if we're capable of doing
I have a
magic
paper to
and-
deliver at the entomologist conference in Magnimar soon. I have to finish writing it.
Oh, well.
If we're going, is there anything that we can bring back for you that would be helpful in your research?
Oh, if you could bring back a few live specimens or even dead specimens, those will do nicely and will help me in my research. No problem.
And I presume you can provide specimen jars and you'll pay for the delivery of these specimens?
Yes, I'll pay 1 gold per delivery of specimen.
And you'll provide us with the specimen jars.
Yes, I'll provide you with 6 specimen jars.
Oh, well,
Are there
we might
any?
need
Are there
20.
any mix? If we're going to Stinger's Scar, which obviously you clearly know a lot about, are there any interbreeded insects in particular that you would like specimens of?
Well, first of all, I should probably tell you a little bit about the interbreeding insects, perhaps give you some
They've got
information.
varieties,
I'm
and then what-
assuming that's what Berivel wanted.
Yes,
so
that'd be
what,
great.
What
Thank
do
you.
they do? Are they bitey? Are they stingy? Are they slimy?
Well, you see, they originally started out... All of the above. They originally started out as a mix of cliff stinger scorpions, which are from Nidal and not a native species to Absalom, some blight flies, blackmeat hornets, and there's also some sin wasps. Well, now they seem to have mixed the worst parts of all of them. Some of them are just a nuisance, but, and he gestures to a vivarium with what looks like a wasp of some description in it that's the size of a terrier. And you see, when they're that size, they're just a pest. And most of us can just ignore them, or we could just at least stab them. But when
Pest.
Well,
I think
that's
say
a fully
terrier.
grown. That's a fully grown queen. That's the largest that they
Okay.
get. Normally, they're probably a third of her size.
Okay.
And then they're not particularly difficult to deal with, except if you're a small vermin. Because the way they hunt is they latch onto the vermin, inject it with a paralysis, and then carve out its eyes.
Paralysis.
Sunflower. Do you think he's one of those?
Maybe that's a leshy.
Well,
yeah, sorry.
they got worse. Because cliff stinger scorpions also work with a paralysis. And they dissect their prey while it's still alive. I don't know why. I'm not particularly sure. Maybe the Nidalese know. I don't. They use it in worship.
Is there anything that can be done to counter the paralysis?
Well, antidotes usually help.
Do you have any of
However,
those?
no, I don't have any because I wasn't planning on doing any field work recently. However, the point is that the cliff stinger scorpions seem to have interbred with the sin wasps, and the sin wasps seem to have interbred with something else because they're now much larger. And a queen is apparently at least 1 meter to 2 meters in size.
If we brought a specimen back of a queen, how
Well,
much?
if you could carry that much, I'd be very impressed.
And I suppose if they can paralyze stuff by stinging, is there like some glands on them that could
Well,
maybe...
yes, they would have glands which would have a paralytic venom in them.
Ooh. Any advice on how to harvest those?
Well, I'd usually use a knife.
Okay, I mean, like,
You
where,
could break them up.
how
Well,
to identify the
how
glands.
to identify them.
yeah.
And he brings over one of the petri dishes and shows you.
Oh, look, if you see here, at the base of the stinger, there will be a gland underneath these particular plates of the chitin. If you cut those open, you'll find the gland and be able to harvest it. And if you put it in one of these jars,
And he drags a jar across the table.
put it in one of those, it's enchanted to preserve it.
Oh, splendid. Could I borrow this jar?
Yes, you can borrow that jar.
Brilliant. Oh, I look forward to doing much business with
And
you.
I'll give you the 6 specimen jars that you can put things in. If you can't fit the entire thing in, just bring its head.
Okay, head. Got
How
it.
many of those poison glands would fit in that one jar?
1.
One.
Yes.
You want us to get you more?
Okay, so you
No, 1
want
will be fine.
Okay, so you want 6 specimens for the jars you give
Well,
us.
only if you want to bring them back. Otherwise, just return the empty jars.
Well, I
Well-
think we'll try to bring back some specimens for some further research. Is there anything else you can tell us about Stinger's scar or about what we may encounter there?
Well, what I can say is fire cleanses.
I've heard
So
of
it's
fire
attack
cleansers.
attack them with fire.
Well, it generally helps.
Brilliant. Okay.
Most things don't react well to being burned.
Very
However, I
true.
would also recommend taking a look in the library. I know there's some very good tomes in there about swarms that perhaps could clue you in on some of the information you're looking for.
And what particular section of the library?
I would recommend looking in local and natural history.
And is that got a section letter? Or
Yes,
nothing?
natural history is under section N for natural, and local history is under section G for Golarion.
And any specific numbers?
33 to 66 in the
They-
natural history.
All right.
And I would recommend 12 to 15 in local history.
Okay. And
Sounds like we're not going to need a whole group of people to search that then.
yes, we are, Bertie.
I think I heard of there being some useful knowledge in that art section.
We do also need some other information about psycho pomps.
Oh, I would recommend the religion section if you're so interested in that. I don't know why, it's got nothing to do with these bugs. However,
Yeah, it's something
if you're
else we're
interested in the
looking
religion
into.
section, it's under L
Okay, and what
Oh.
section numbers?
for love.
Love. Oh.
Because
law.
religion is love.
Not all religions.
I would have you know that Callistra and others would have an option to say no, that's not true.
Well, yes, I'm aware
Love
of
is
that.
very well. Actually, no. It's lust that's her problem. Anyway,
And the numbered sections.
I'm sure we
12
could
to
figure
20.
this out.
I know, but the more information we get, the less searching we have to do.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they've got people just working in the library who can ask this to,
You could ask the librarian.
Yes.
Yes, but we don't want to waste time. So
Are you on the
You're
clock?
wasting the academics' time, I see.
Well, would you like a copy of my thesis? I can even sign it for you.
Oh,
Yes, please.
He reaches in-
I'll pull out the one I've got.
Oh, and he grabs a quill and he starts signing it.
Oh, I'm amazed. A fan, are you?
Of course.
Oh,
Find out about all this
He just
incredible
likes
magical
books.
energies that have been going wrong, and you're the lead investigator or whatever, aren't you?
Yes.
Of course, I need to speak to you.
If you do discover anything about the source of the magical energy or any particular way you think it might be warping these insects, please do report back.
Oh, of course.
I would be most fascinated to learn what you know. Anyway, it's been lovely to meet you. Is there anything else I can help you with?
just direct us to the library.
Go back down the
specifically.
tower, across the quad, third door on the east side of the quad, and then go straight down the hallway, and at the end is a large door, and you will find, beyond there, the library.
Thank you. You've been very helpful.
Pleasure. It's been lovely to meet you all, even if I didn't catch all of your names. Bethilde, it's been a joy. Please
thank
do
you.
come back.
We'll bring you some bug parts and
You-
some bugs.
Oh, well, as long as you bring them, I'll be fine.
Oh, I'll try. And she sort of blushes a little bit, but then also kind of like just like a little skip and a step.
Yep, so off to the library.
So you head back down the tower and across the quad to the library. You find it's a massive building, massive part of the building which extends to 3 floors of just row upon row upon row of books. You have some areas and some shelving numbers. You have a choice of things you can roll. You can roll society or religion. You can roll nature or occult, arcana,
I'm taking
or
Arcana.
society. So these are secret checks
Secret checks.
because if you fail, you can end up with false information. So
So I was reading Join Past, by the way, which is specifically actually for this kind of thing. So I sort of touch 3 willing creatures and bring them into mental communion. But it means that the target, when they attempt to recall knowledge, the other ones can aid the first target's skill check using any law skill without having made preparations to aid.
Yep.
I'm not quite sure entirely how that works. But
So basically, you can just roll. Yeah, you would roll your law skill, and if you succeed, they'd gain a bonus.
yeah, okay.
And
But
because
it means
two
that
of you can attempt it, you've got more chance of somebody critting.
Yes. Okay. Ooh, so I'll add myself into that, and then whoever's. So which one of us wants to do the research?
I'm on it.
Okay, Katarra, you look like you're worldly and you know things. Let's.
I think Bertie wanted to say something.
I had a
Do you
cough.
like books?
I love books. I cannot wait to do this research.
Ooh.
You
Okay.
have been nothing but
I have this
bitching and
great
moaning the
idea.
entire way over here.
I have this thing I can do, and it might be helpful. Just hold my. Let's take a little circle and sit here and hold my hands. And she's put her hands out to both Bertie and Xander.
Cool.
You hear the librarian
Okay.
stamping books in the corner, and she just leans over, just looks at you all holding hands, and just shakes her head.
It was only Xander, Bertie, and Bethilde.
It's still
Yeah.
weird.
Right. So, Xander, what skill are you choosing?
Oh, corner.
Well, I mean, yeah. So
And
and
what's-
we'll.
And so you
So
can
the target is the person who's researching,
Okay.
and then the other two, so it'd be us two,
can roll
would
to
be-
aid.
Could roll any law to aid.
Yep.
So you roll a d20.
So roll your d20 and add your law skills for the aid. You can do the aid.
It's 14.
14 is a fail.
I got 20.
20 is a success. So you get a +1. So what's your Arcana score?
Plus 11.
And Minesh, what skill are you rolling?
Nature, which is +8.
Okay. Bertie,
Religion,
and what's your bonus?
+9.
Bethilde, what skill are you
What
using?
were my options then?
Religion, occultism, Arcana, nature, society.
For me?
You don't roll
I don't.
the
You,
DM's
what's your
rolls.
score?
Oh, sorry, 9 +9. Do I not roll? Not say
No.
what? Huh?
No,
you don't
I
roll.
add.
It's a secret roll that the DM
I
does.
see.
And Katarra.
Society, which is a +5.
Beauregard. Beauregard get to do anything.
No.
Does Beauregard?
It's Beauregard. It's Beauregard.
Beauregard.
Does he like suck a book
Met
and
him at
work out
private
what's in
school,
it?
you know.
Okay, so you find amongst the shelves of local history, you find a book called Beldren's Bluff, A Quick History by esteemed historian I.P. Graham. It offers a concise yet vivid account of Beldren's Bluff, charting the rise as a haven for creativity, arcane study, and magical experimentation. And he deftly captures the allure and danger of Beldren's legendary towers, long rumoured to house 3 powerful magical artifacts: the Aegis of the Starborn, a shield to deflect even a dragon's flames; the Horn of Unbroken Dawn, an instrument capable of waking the dead from their slumber; and the Eternal Light, an intricate candelabra of ever-burning flames that is whispered to reveal the truths hidden in the dark. You all know that Beldren's Bluff was the former name of the Precipice Quarter, and the 3 towers refer to the wizards' towers that were originally built there, 2 of which fell into the sea. You also find in the local history The Day the City Stood Still by Augustus Demeter, which chronicles the cataclysm of the earthquake that shook Absalom, capturing both the destruction and shockwaves the earthquake of 4698 sent through the city's populace. Within its pages, a curious chapter recounts the story of Vincent Jones, a local psychic widely considered to be a charlatan who claimed to have seen the disaster. Though apparently discredited as a fraud in 4703 AR, Jones reportedly described his premonitions with unsettling imagery, referring to an ominous tangle of scar and clockwork. Demeter leaves their readers to wonder whether Jones's warnings were dismissed too hastily, or whether they were simply the ramblings of a notorious fraud. In the natural history, you find a book called The Beauty of the Humanoid Form by...
Why did everybody look at me then?
You asked for it. That was what you wanted.
That was what you wanted.
Someone say you begged for it.
by... just
It's going
find
to
it
be
in my
by the
notes.
artist who
Oh,
did
is
like
that
the
guy
By
who did the-
Theodore Rosewhistle,
Yeah, there we go.
who
I want it
takes...
to be loads of tasteful black and white nudes.
It's a load of... it starts off as a load of tasteful black and white penciled nudes of what seem to be indeterminate indeterminate figures. You can tell that they're male or female, or at least
I would hope
physically
so.
that way.
For nudes.
However, you can't really tell anything about their facial features. They're more a form and a
Yes.
fluidity to them. However, as they
Butts and stuff.
get further into the book,
There's a
they,
chapter called Butts and stuff.
as they get further into the book, they start to become more and more comedically proportioned, as the statues were in Thatch Weevil's house, to the point where the humanoids would fall over if they had those kind of boobs.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I would be like, I'd be like reading about, ooh, and I'd be like, Bertie, look at this.
I'm just blushing.
Look at the pair of knockers on that one.
I don't think they actually come that large, you know.
In the final 2 chapters, it describes how to draw like Theodore Rosewhistle and shows you his skills for capturing the curvature of some of humanoids' best features.
I noticed the faces didn't seem very important to him.
I think that's all about the mystery. So it could be anybody. Could this be your neighbour? It could be.
And that helps with the allure, does it?
It does. You know, it's kind of like, you know, you don't know. Is this your lover? Is this a friend? Who knows? I don't know. I'm a bit confused. I'm flustered by these pictures.
Surely, if it's your lover, you'd know what the body looks like.
In a section titled "Local and Natural History," you find a book that's been labeled and misplaced, which is "Folk Tales of Golarion in the Inner Sea." And it mentions collected tales of a scarecrow appearing at certain times to do with certain disasters. And it talks about how the scarecrow would appear in school playgrounds when children were about to die horribly. It also says that the scarecrow was reported by Vincent Jones. And that was the most recent sighting of one. However, they have been numerously reported throughout history across the region of the Inner Sea, and therefore are seen as a portent of doom.
Kind of like a grim.
Yeah. You also find Supernatural and Psychic Phenomena of Golarion by Henrietta Peakes, which is an investigative tome delving into the unexplainable events and eerie sightings across the Inner Sea as well. Compiled from accounts by scholars, adventurers, and common folk alike, the book recounts encounters with spirits, spectral lights, strange apparitions, and unsettling messages from beyond. Among its most chilling entries is a recent sighting from 4718 AR of a humanoid figure resembling a giant moth. With hollow luminous eyes and thin black wings, witnesses report that it spoke in a deep distorted voice uttering cryptic warning, "What you think of as life is a great deception. The faithful have already been claimed, taken and saved. You are ours." The unsettling message and others like it are examined in the book's final chapters as the author searches for a pattern among these signs that hint at vast hidden truths within Golarion's mysteries. And the final book you find is The Colony Accord, a treatise on collective might of swarms by celebrated entomologist Yedlin Volnax, which brings the enigmatic world of hive behavior and cooperative aggression vividly to life, presenting this knowledge in compelling, unsettling detail. Volnax explores the mysterious colony accord, the mystical consciousness arising when gathered swarms of lesser creatures begin to function as part of a formidable larger entity. Through enthralling chapters, Volnax unveils the unique traits of swarms, from their uncanny resistance to single-target magic to the futility of combating them with a blade. The immensity of the collective illustrates how swarms overwhelm through sheer numbers, recounting chilling tales of villages obliterated by locusts and death beetles. Resistance to a singular blade details that the individual weapons prove ineffective, while Unified Mind, Unified Defense examines swarms' uncanny resilience to manipulation, defying mind-altering spells due to their dispersed intelligence. Finally, Methods of Countermeasures offers pragmatic advice for surviving a swarm's onslaught, detailing potent spells and tactics to scatter or burn the relentless masses. Volnax's words carry an eerie beauty, cautioning readers with the reminder that even the greatest among us may be undone by the smallest.
Okay, a couple of things. The whole what you know as life is deception is what Big Gale said to us when he was doing his whole villain monologue, because everyone was looking at me very confused because I had my mouth wide open because I remembered that.
This is where a good memory comes in handy.
Yeah, exactly. Did we not find anything about the psychopomps?
No.
Frank's sake. Okay. And
Almost as if now is not the time for us to know.
It's almost as if you failed the religion check.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
why?
Bertie.
+9. I gave you every opportunity. It's a good excuse to come back to a library, though.
And the
Yeah.
book that talks about like the methods.
Uh-huh.
Is there specific detail that we
Area and splash damage.
area and splash
Yes.
damage?
It also says that you can clear areas of swarm by lighting a torch.
Right, splash damage and torches.
From a mechanical perspective, having a lit torch in one hand clears a 5-foot emanation, which is basically the square around you.
So we could end up just walking through rather than having to fight, unless they attack us.
Yeah, if we all
In
have
theory.
a torch that's lit, then that'll give
It's more
us-
likely a case of if you've got a swarm of insects and you're holding a torch and you've got a clear patch around you, you can see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it might be worth seeing if this is again out of character, seeing if we can find some what they called the fire bombs and stuff, the alchemical bombs or something. Because I don't think we have any.
Some spell scrolls. Some spell scrolls. What would you could help with those? If that fire area of effect spells or something. Does that help? at all? Yeah.
Something like Burning Hands or something like that. Or what is it? Breathe Fire
Breathe
these days.
Fire.
Breathe Fire.
Yeah.
In the first one, you said about Belgium's Bluff. There were 3 magical items in each of the individual towers.
Yeah.
What were they again?
So the towers themselves were the Tower of the Shield, the Tower of the Horn, and the Tower of the Broken Shield, the Tower of the Horn, and the Tower of the Candelabra. And the shield is the Aegis of the Starborn. The horn is the Horn of the Unbroken Dawn. And the candelabra was known as the Eternal Light.
Thank you. If we are in a magical college,
Mm-hmm.
would there not be somewhere here we could I could get some spell scrolls or something from?
You could you go back down and find Kenny, who's walking around shepherding people about in the quad, and you ask him, and he's like, well, if you want to pay a donation, you could use that room over there.
What's in that room over there?
Well, the ink and paper you would need to write scrolls down.
Oh no, we were looking for scrolls that are already
This is a school, not a
completed.
shop. However, we do have a shop outside.
Is it just a gift shop? Or
No,
is it
it's
an
not a gift
actual
shop. This is a magical school.
Okay.
We create magical items
Right.
and magical scrolls. And if you go in the shop just outside the gates on the right-hand side, ask them.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Tell
Yeah.
Roger I sent you.
Roger.
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 Okay. Roger and Kenny.
Yeah, so go
So
to
you
the
wander
shop.
out the gate of the Arcanumerium and you find this little unassuming shop that's almost Dickensian in comparison to this massive black Nexian building that houses the school. And you walk inside and there's a Tengu sat behind the counter. It's like, hello.
Kenny sent us.
Afternoon.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah.
You said you could help us out with magic items that we may
What
need.
kind of magic items?
Spell scrolls.
Spell scroll.
Chemical
Yes.
bombs.
Oh, chemical bombs.
Just fun things.
Fun things. I've got sparklers.
I do well like sparklers, but can
How
I
about
take-
like a magical torch that can't be put out? Very specific, I know.
A magical torch that can't be put
Is
out.
there like is there like a bit in the room where when you used to go to like HMV or other stores that like DVD and music stores and they have the posters where it's like on the rack, you like
yeah.
flick through the posters. Do they have like one of those but for spells? So you could just be like, ooh,
For
what
spell
spells?
scrolls,
Like
yeah.
spell scrolls. It's just got all these little things on the wall and you can be like, ooh, that one's cool. Ooh, that one's cool.
No, most of the shelves are taken up by pieces of armor, what look like weapons. There's a load of random magical items. But there's also what there seems to be is the scrolls are kept behind the counter in what look like little wire baskets that are locked, so no one can steal them by the look of it.
Yeah.
Shame.
So some alchemical bombs and some spells that do like area damage
Well,
or splash
Fire
damage.
damage.
Since Kenny sent you, I can do you a little bit of everything. And he goes and starts unlocking the cages with a set of keys he takes off his belt, pulls out a few scrolls. You wanted fire, yeah? Was that right?
Fire, area of effect,
Right,
splash.
okay. And he comes back over and he's got one scroll of acid bubble, one scroll of breathe fire, and one scroll of breathe fire at second rank.
Might be the coolest shop in the city.
And how much for each of these
Almost certainly.
scrolls?
Definitely.
Oh, it's 10 gold for the breathe fire at second rank. 3 gold for the first rank breathe fire, and 3 gold for the acid bubble.
And you have any alchemical bombs?
Yes, they're 2 gold each.
Okay, and which ones do you have?
Alchemist fire or bottled lightning.
And you only have one of each.
I have 2 of each.
I was also wondering if you had anything sort of different, festive, interesting, something. You know, I feel like my magic's taken a bit of a strange bend recently. You know, since we went to the fair and had that very long walk. So I feel like, have you got anything that's a bit more spicy?
Spicy.
I mean, breathe fire is pretty spicy.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, something a bit more fun.
Like an
We
egg,
need more fun in
an
our
egg
battles.
that you throw at someone, and when it cracks, they become a chicken.
Sorry,
that
Matt.
sort of thing.
Sorry, Matt. You said that the acid bubble and the breathe fire first rank were 3 gold each.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And he looks at you and starts wandering back over Bethilde to rummage through the various things he's got behind the desk. Pulls out a clipboard, which is much finer made than the one that Cole was using as the quartermaster of the Knights of Last War. Wanders over to what seems to be another display cabinet, unlocks that, starts rummaging inside of it, and pulls out a wand.
This is quite spicy once you start using it.
I mean, that's often how wands are.
Yes, it is.
What does it do?
Well, that's a really good question. I don't know. Let me check my books.
And he wanders back over and puts it on the desk and then laughs.
This.
Wonder vibrations.
Why did you go there?
It's a wand of goblin pox.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What does
I
it
mean,
do?
again,
Gives you goblin pox.
Incredible. Again. Does what it says on the tin, I guess.
kind of still not quite where I was going.
Oh, okay.
But he goes back over and puts it back in the display cabinet.
Maybe something sort of interesting and whimsical and fun. Less poxy.
I've got a scroll of nettle skin.
I feel like maybe this isn't the shop for me.
Personal rain cloud.
You know, I did see a rain cloud yesterday and I thought, maybe. But, no, I think I'm okay.
You said he unlocked all the cabinets.
Did he lock them back up?
He locks them back up when he finishes. He's he's no fool.
Shame that.
So he's got the breathe fire.
I've also
spell.
got verminous lure if you'd like. It will let you emit a musk that's captivating.
No, we don't want that.
Good musk.
You could make a target, have a captivating musk, and all the animals will go towards it.
That could actually be pretty good.
Does it work on bugs?
They're animals.
Okay, and how much is that?
That is going to be, it's a spell scroll, so it's 3 gold.
That sounds rather interesting. Yes, I feel like maybe you have got the idea. I mean, it's still a little bit dark, but that sounds a bit fun. Musky animals, maybe, yes.
I mean, there's nothing's quite as fun as a good musk. Especially one you like the scent of.
Sorry, Matt, just checking. The breathe fire spell, if I got that with the first level spell scroll and then learned it.
You could prepare it at second rank.
Okay, sweet. Which case, I'll look at it was what did you say it was? What race?
The acid
The-
bubble is
the
3
Tengu.
gold.
Tengu.
Oh, the Tengu, yeah.
Tengu. Yeah, I'll look over to the Tengu. Can I take the acid bubble and breathe fire first rank, please?
Yep, sure.
Thank
Would you like
you.
them gift wrapped?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like a bag?
No.
Okay, that would have been 3 copper if you did.
Not falling for that one.
Sustainability is very important in Golarion.
And he passes you over the scrolls, takes your money, pops it into a pouch.
I'd take the Verminous Law one and just start feeding it to Beauregard.
You start feeding it to Beauregard, who chews.
Oh, one of those, are you?
Oh, yes, I find that I let Beauregard read it first. That's how he reads things. And then
You know,
kind
I
of
want
like
to spend
helps.
time up north in Irison. They do that a lot in that place.
We'll also take the 2 alchemist vial and bottle of lightning.
Wonderful.
So you give all the money over. He packages up your things, puts the vials into a small wooden box packed with sawdust so they don't get rattled, and gives it all to you. He's like,
Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, I think...
Don't think so. Bethilde, did you want to learn a scroll of sudden bolt?
Of what?
Sudden bolt? It's quite powerful.
Can she
Ooh, that
cast
sounds
it?
Interesting. What does it do?
Well,
I think it electrifies things.
I will just find out for you.
sudden bolt, it calls down a small bolt of lightning, dealing 4d12 electricity damage.
Oh, yeah.
Are you interested?
I mean, I'm always happy to feed it to Beauregard and see if it's his kind of deal. So I'm sure he'll find it kind of interesting.
Yes, I.
Yes, because learning it doesn't destroy the spell scroll. So you can learn it,
I've already learned
yeah,
it.
and then feed it to...
Yeah,
Beauregard
and then we've both
yeah,
got the
good
spell.
Yeah, yeah.
So I reach in my bag, pull it out, and hand it over to you.
Choose on it.
And secretly in the back of her mind, Bethilde has a smug little piece of satisfaction when she realizes that Xander could also have learned that spell.
Oops.
Doesn't know.
I
He's
thought
not
it was
here.
a primal spell.
Primal and Arcane.
Oh.
So
It's fine. He
you,
won't know unless he listens to the podcast.
Sorry, he won't know unless I hit him with it.
so as Beauregard chews on these two spell scrolls, you wander back outside and using your clamshell card, hook a ride back across the city.
Yeah.
So you're heading back to the Precipice Quarter.
Let's go kill some bugs.
If I've got these new scrolls, which will deal area effect and splash damage and whatnot, surely it's worth me spending time to learn them, so that then I've got them consistently and I can keep casting the spell instead of the one sword.
does it
It's going to take
learn?
2 hours for you to learn it, and it's
We
an
could go
hour
to the
per
pub.
level of scroll for you.
Yeah, we could
Sweet.
go to the pub and have some lunch and have a couple of bevies and
don't
We
and
could-
work on
think
some
whilst trying
spells.
to-
It's the best way to learn spells, honestly. Beauregard always learns spells better over a little, small fire whiskey.
I look over at Bertie. I've realised that if we go over to the Wandering Barnacle, it's going to be ages for us to get back. So, or we could
There might be a pub around here.
We might as well make our way over to the Spiral Shrine if like we're on our way near to the
Can I
Precipice
see
Quarter.
any good pubs
And-
around here?
Roll a perception check.
I actually agree with Xander. I think the Spiral Shrine would be a better place to go.
24.
There is the...
Is there anything that's named after a book?
looking down the street, there is, in fact, the Bookmaker's Arms.
What about that one? That looks like your kind of place. Look, the Bookmaker's Arms. You like
No,
books?
I think the Spiral Shrine would be better.
I'm so happy that you're finally coming around to a liking for the
Yeah,
Spiral
see,
Shrine.
and we're close there already, and it'll give us enough time for us to study our new
What is that?
scrolls and learn.
Literally see it from here. I'm pointing at it right
Yes,
now.
but
And,
if we
and we're
go-
about to
if
pass
we
it.
go
Look, watch
there-
it go. Wow, it's
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah.
We're going past it, and it is
yes, we're going
gone.
to the Spiral Shrine.
Shame.
So you catch a ride on one of the carts, leaving the Bookmaker's Arms behind, and a disappointed Bethilde stares at it as Beauregard chews on a spell scroll and then chews on another one. You end up at the Spiral Shrine about an hour and a half later by the time you've walked through the Precipice Quarter, because it's slow going. You don't walk quickly through a quarter where there's a chance of being jumped by undead at any moment. You eventually do reach the Spiral Shrine. Roll your Arcana check, Xander, to learn this new spell as you sit down and study it.
I'm able to learn both. Was
Yep.
it just the one roll?
2 rolls.
2 rolls, okay. First one, that is 19.
19, you learn the spell.
Running to roll.
And
No,
the
because
second
Beauregard
one,
automatically learns them.
Yeah.
that's 21.
21. So you learn both spells, because they're both first level spells, aren't they? First
Brilliant.
rank spells. So you learn those. The difference is with witches, you lose the spell scroll.
Yeah, once you're familiar.
So there's so the wizard, and it costs you 4
2
gold
gold.
per level, 4 gold per each of them,
4 go. Oh, okay.
because you have to have the materials to perfect the spell.
So by the time this is all done, what sort of time of day are we looking at?
By the time you've been backwards and forwards across the city, you're looking at evening
And it's the fact that he can't update his spell list until
till the morning.
till the morning.
So you can't change what
So
you've
we
got.
can't actually go and distinct a scar ideally until tomorrow morning if
Yeah.
we want area of effect spells.
Mhm.
That's my understanding.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Sorry, Matt, was he... what was the spell? Was it,
It was acid bubble and
Acid bubble.
breathe.
Where's acid bubble? I can't find it anywhere. I found acidic burst.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Renamed, probably.
Yeah, okay. And breathe fire.
Yeah, so I presume Dietza or Dietzi.
Dietzia is there.
Yes.
Still, she's sweeping the stoop as you come up to the temple. She's like, "Oh, hello. Welcome back.
Yes, can we stay another night?
Yes, I'm going to start charging you for the room if you keep doing
And I
this."
really think that you probably maybe we should give you a retainer and maybe just give you some funds, and then it'll kind
She
of like
slides over a
the
donations
dice
table on the
involved,
table.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
we've
let's do that,
made
and then that way-
donations. We gave you all those
Body-
all
that
wanted
work.
posters.
Yes, yes. You donated bodies to the church for Asmar. I'm so pleased. Yes. You could, however, keep the bodies. Don't help us fix the roof.
Well, I think it was that there
How's
were...
this
There's a reward for them.
Oh, the reward. Yes, the reward was lovely. We've spent it on a new roof tile.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll
A single
keep
roof
bringing
tile?
More,
Well, there was
yes,
3
more
of them.
rewards to you.
Well, very high.
It went to repairing some leaks in the roof. This place does get a little bit.
Well, we
Go
are
on.
trying to find a
Telandris.
Yes.
Landris.
Bathilde
Yes.
takes out a gold coin. And
Oh,
puts like a
please, no.
gold piece
Copper
in.
is fine.
No, puts like a whole gold piece in and says like, maybe that will compensate for all of the wonderful advice you've given us, all the support, and some nice warm beds.
May you always
And the
walk.
tea.
May you always walk in Phrasma's light, and may she judge you kindly. Tuppence looks at you, looks at the box. He's like,
Pence.
"Really? Are we? I can't be shown up by her. I can't." He walks over and he puts 2 gold in.
Okay.
Never.
Minesh is just like shaking her head.
Xander said, "That's very nice of you," and walks straight past the
I'll pay for you as
charity
well,
bit.
Xander. Don't
yes,
worry.
Yes,
Oh,
it's
crap.
fine.
And you
Does
see,
count as well.
you see, the best bit is, Governor, I'll nick you back later.
Tuppence, we don't steal from churches.
Don't we?
No.
It's not stealing from churches. It's on the porch.
Especially when we're like probably going to be the main suspects.
Yeah, just
You might be the main suspect. I won't be.
for now. Just
All right, I'll leave it. I'll
Leave
leave
it for now.
I've been generous.
yes, we
I've
don't
been-
want warrants out for our arrest.
No, but she is giving us rooms, and it's only fair.
Exactly.
I'd pay for it if it was a tavern, so why shouldn't
A
I
nice
pay for it
tavern.
here? Well, actually, it's quite clean and nice here.
Yes, yes,
There
this
wasn't a
place
bunch
is-
of mice sharing your bed.
No.
If only you could speak with the animals. Perhaps you should ask Minesh whether she wants to trade rooms and speak with the small little critters, considering she's got a mole following her around now.
Well, there's no mice here. Well, there may be mice here, but there's no mice in the beds here, so
No.
we're okay.
Do you reckon she's named the mole yet?
Have
I
you
thought
have
she
you
was
named
called
them all?
Stanley.
You said Moley earlier, but I feel like it's a better name than
Because it's a
Moley.
mole. That's why.
Mole
So
the mole.
there's a better name
about
than
Molly?
Moley.
No, you need to
Holy
understand.
moly,
The mole
you're
will
old.
earn its name in combat.
Call
Right.
it killer.
Okay.
Nothing without
Slasher.
die in combat.
Biter.
What are you going to do with this bull? You're going to make him fight.
Well, you
Paw
make
to paw with the bulls?
you make Beauregard fight.
As you say
so-
that, there's
The
a little,
Beauregard
a little
chooses
mouse
to fight.
comes out of its hole with a sword and a shield. So you wander down the hallway past Deeds here. Some donations are given, and you head into the rooms.
Yeah.
Do you wish to do anything before you retire for the evening?
I will update my spell list to include the breathe fire and
Yep.
acid burst.
Yeah, I'm also going to update my spell list.
Okay. So as you sleep overnight and update your spell lists, we will leave this episode here, and you will pick up next time as you venture into a horde
Stinger Scar.
of stinging things. Yes, Stinger Scar.
You can find us on your favourite social media platforms. You'll find links in the description below.
Thanks as always to Syrinscape for the amazing atmosphere and music. Make sure you check them out at syrinscape.com. You've just got to be using them at your gaming table because epic tales need epic music.
Thanks for listening. We've been Epic Tales and Critical Fails.